Okay, so this girl came to me 6 weeks ago and she had come with this. So she wanted a global lightning. She wanted to be super blonde from roots to end. So she came in with this. She had a lot of banding. She's Asian and has a lot of natural root. So we went in and we did 10 volume at her roots with the Brilliant Lightener. And then on her bands, you can see the process now. So on her bands, I pulled it at the very, very end. And then I'm going to show you the end result. So now this is where she's at when she came to me today. So this was 6 weeks from our very first session. And so now what we're going to do is I'm going to completely use high lift color. So I'm not going to use any kind of lightener or anything like that on her hair. You can see that her new growth obviously has grown out, but you can see the huge difference between the lightness that I did previously to where her old color is on her zone 3. So we're going to completely redo and fix all of that. Okay, so when it comes to doing a root melt, you have to just make sure that you're going far enough down on the strand. So right here, I'm literally just blending where her blonde is, where it's stopping from like zone 1. I'm just dragging it down. So what I'm doing here is I'm dragging that root color down enough so that way when I'm applying my second formula, which is going to be our high lift 10 natural and 10 violet, I'm using a 30 volume and I'm literally just applying it where I really stopped that zone 1 color, and I'm just blending it. So you see how I'm using my finger and I'm just blending it up. These two colors are meant to be mixed, so I'm not going to have any kind of weird transition or warmth at all at that transition because this color is meant to be used together. So what I love about this is I'm dragging that 4N in and that dark ash mixer deep enough and long enough to add some type of dimension. So that way I'm not just getting like, ½ inch of growth right there. So I'm going to keep doing this all the way up the head. Okay, so you're going to see me just framing this section out. I did take a pretty good like 1 to 2 inch section right here, and I'm still going to have even saturation. You're going to see in just a second how I'm going to do that. But right now I'm just applying it around the perimeter so that way I can frame the section that I just took And I'm literally taking horizontal sections, very fine, enough for me to see through. And what I'm doing is I'm just applying it right where her root color is and where the blonde stops. And so I'm just blending out that line of demarcation. You're gonna see here where I'm gonna be starting to drag that root color down. And so that's the 4NN and Dark Ash Mixer. And now you're gonna see me apply the high lift. So the high lift is literally exactly where I stopped the actual root melt Formula 1, and I'm just dragging that high lift all the way down. You see how I'm using my finger just to slightly just transition that very well. So that's all I'm doing. Those two things can mix together, and I'm applying the high lift right here, and I'm just dragging it all the way to her ends. And so I'm just gonna very lightly go over the transition mark, and that way you can see. I'm just hitting those bands of colors again, but that way you can see the difference in what I'm doing. Okay, so now we're on the side, and so basically what we're going to be doing here is I'm taking horizontal sections, and I'm going to, just like I did before on the back sections, I'm making sure that I am applying it just to where her dark root is, a little bit down to where that blonde meets it, because I'm going to do the melting and all that as I apply the high lift. So you can see that my horizontal section is my original sectioning, and I'm going in with vertical sections, and I'm just applying where that root and that blonde meet, just to get the 4NN and that Dark Ash Mixer on there. So of course I'm having to fight around her mask because we're having to stay safe. So in here I'm literally just going in there and I'm doing those sections vertically, making sure that I have enough color on my brush and blending that in. Okay, so now I'm taking diagonal sections, and when I'm getting closer to the top of her head, I just want to make sure that I'm softening that line and creating a different angle. And so I'm turning her so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. So I'm still taking fine enough sections, I'm taking horizontal sections in between, and I'm just hitting where that line of demarcation is. But you see how I'm just angling that just a little bit, so that way as I'm going up her head, to the front of her head, that I'm keeping it closer, and that way the blonde will be closer to her, around her face will be lighter, and then that way as you see around the back of her head, it's going to be a little bit more, it's darker. So that way you have a little bit of a contrast there, and a little bit of a noticeable difference.